2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
What's the deal, Panther fans? It's your boy, the Professor, a.k.a. Tony Dunn. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast, brought to you by... Oh, how about this? Let's redo that, since I can turn on my mic now. What's the deal, Panther fans? It's your boy, the Professor, a.k.a. Tony Dunn. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast. It's 9 p.m. on the dot. We're locked and loaded here to talk about the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. Interesting show tonight. There is absolutely no newsa, nothing even remotely to talk about when it comes to current Panthers news. But we'll do our best to get through and continue the longest running Panthers podcast out there. You can follow the show at cat_chronicles on Twitter, Carolina Cat Chronicles on Facebook, and the C3 Panthers podcast on wherever you get your podcast fix: iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify. And since it's just the two tonight, I do want to go ahead and say welcome, Underground West, Joey the Blind Panther, Rio Dub, Tyler Duncan, Chef Jeff, Home Mycology, the greatest Panther fans on YouTube. That's the shout out from our boy Cody Lashney, recharging tonight. But it's okay. We got half the crew here tonight. CK in the house. How you doing, my friend?
You know, doing about as good as I think you can expect in the current environment in which we live, man. It's I think everybody's starting to get that exhaustion of everything. Like, they're exhausted at this point dealing with all of this.
Like, the best family relations have been tested.
Yeah,
the most patient personalities have been fatigued.
And you know, for Cody, just so everybody knows, Cody lost a dear friend of his this past week, and so I think that's hitting him pretty hard emotionally. And so you guys obviously keep Cody Lashley in your prayers and your thoughts, and you know, everything. And he's going to try to just recharge this week and be ready to go, and you know, upbeat and emotional for next week. So
also, the Bat Daddy out of pocket this week, and to the Bat Daddy's credit, I feel like he's a kindred soul of mine who just tries to do so much.
Oh, he is overwhelmed. I tell you, I sit there and think, how many podcasts has he got? 4 now?
Yeah, 4 podcasts. 4? He's got a full-time job. He's got a family.
He's taking care of a pig,
a pet pig,
and now he's building a barn.
A big one, dude. This thing's no joke, homie. This thing is giant and looks great so far. So, Greg, keep working out there. This is the best time.
Keep us updated, too.
This is the best time to not be worried about a Panthers podcast. And to our listeners, thank you for worrying about it. So what I was going to say is, you're right. The fatigue has set in. I was thinking, I saw some tweets today recently, my alma mater, East Carolina, which I live in the college town. I go on the college radio weekly, or their local radio, but they are a pirate station. But we do NFL on Fridays, and they cut, I think, men's diving and swimming and tennis. A couple of about 4 programs cut. And I saw today that Joe Person tweeted that it's sad that Appalachian did something similar. They cut 2 programs, but I'm telling you, when you're talking about the fatigue of the situation, CK, is that we might be feeling the social fatigue right now, but the economic ramifications of this will be far-reaching, and it'll be a long time before we figure out what they are.
No, it's exactly, and I don't think people realize how many people were hanging on by the edge.
That's a good point. Those are the ones that are going to go, that are going to be extinct.
Yeah. And so, I mean, you see these small businesses that this is the end. This is the worst thing that could happen to them. And then you have, as you said, these programs, right? If they were hanging on by a thread as it is, well, this was an easy decision to cut them at that point. I can't imagine what discussions are happening right now with like arts in even high schools, right? All of these elective classes that at this point in time, you can't teach from afar. You cannot teach, theater from afar. You can try, but you can't. Like, it's a very difficult thing to do. Art is a very difficult thing to teach from afar. You have to be able to be hands-on and show them. The
only way that you don't, there's a free art teaching in the world. It's called YouTube.
Yeah.
That's what people are going to, end up doing. Yeah. But you're right, is that when you point out the types of programs, Tin Tizzy says, do we need swimming, though? And it's an interesting question that's probably going to be facing college athletics as a whole. Is that,
do we need football?
Yeah, do you need college athletics for a lot of these schools? Now, there's some schools where college athletics can be such a draw, where it manufactures money. You think of a Georgia, you think of a Alabama. Those programs drive so much, but you're talking about, like you said, the programs. You talk about swimming, you talk about tennis. These are programs that didn't make money, that if they were lucky probably broke even, and were carried by big institutions that had a little fat, that could sustain it. But now what you're seeing is that while this is hitting small businesses, these behemoth of businesses, universities in this case, they're going to have to, a lot of them are going to have to redirect. And the question is that, like the guy said, at Furman, they're cutting this. Like, I've heard that name before. I don't know where Furman is. I know, like, maybe it's just that football and sports won't be at every major but the flagship of state universities that can afford it and some things. But you're right, is that you are seeing this, and right away, it's accelerated something that's probably needed to happen or was bound to happen at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we don't know what else is on the chopping block. If you think about it, I mean, this is just the first of waves, and it might not be sports programs, but it could be all walks of life. Rio Dubs works at ECU. What's up, my man? 252, baby. 252. Shout out to all the people in the chat room. Underground West, Trill One, Tyler Duncan, Tin Tizzy. JB got that juice. Rio Dub. The number's 252-228-5098. So, can you fathom anything that is eligible to be talked about on a Carolina Panthers this podcast this week, CK? I guess I should have gone and got guests, and we should have manufactured topics on other podcasters who are probably in a dearth of news themselves. If you're not the Bucks right now, like a Bucks podcast, who else?
What do they have to talk about? Like,
just Tom Brady still.
What are they talking about? The tournament and how he choked?
Oh yeah. What did you watch any of that?
No, but I just heard about it.
Did he split his pants too?
I have
Someone
no idea.
split their pants, and I think it was Tom Brady. You know, I'm not a Peyton Manning fan by nature. It's just like I don't dislike him at all, but it's just like he's so likable. It's like off-putting to me. And I thought that people were so enamored with that field general presence. So I do think that Tom Brady is probably the better I don't know how to say it, more successful, the better, the one I would have picked out of the two quarterbacks of that bunch. But I like Tiger, yo. I like Tiger, so I was rooting for him, and he actually seemed pretty cool in it. So did you see the meme of Bill Belichick?
Yeah.
With the orange.
All those asking if this is the Tom Brady we see after, that's not with Bill Belichick. Is that the one you're talking
about? 10 says, he says, y'all figure out the games we might hit this year. All right, let's talk. Okay, we'll do that. Let's do that. We've been over the schedule. Like, no, as that we might actually go to.
Oh. Dude, this is a tough one, man. I was looking and I was having a hard time figuring it out.
Well, let's find one. How about this? Let's find one, because I can't remember a season in a long time where I haven't been to a game. There might have been a season that snuck in. God, I want to say, no, I went 2016. I feel like I've been every year since about 2008.
Yeah.
You know, or
the part of it, I think, obviously, yeah, we're going to go to a game, period. Like, it's going to happen.
It's more just to say, and actually, to be honest, a game where you have zero expectations, like you're just saying this, is we're going to this game, we're going to just watch it.
Yeah. If nothing else, it'll be a good getaway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Hang out with the homeboys. Try linking up with 10 Tizzy. Hell yeah. All right. So we've talked about the games in ad nauseum in the schedule breakdown. So no new news, but just if you're thinking about it, first home Panthers game of the year. Ooh, is the Oakland. Raiders 9-13.
Or Las Vegas, I guess you should say.
Yeah, the Raiders. Hosting the Raiders, first game of the year. Now, this might be an interesting game to go to be honest.
That's honestly the only one I was thinking that I'd be interested in going to. Like, I mean, yes, would it be cool to go and actually see Tom Brady play as a Buck? Sure. But then again, like, do I want to see him beat the Panthers? No, I don't want to see him beat the Panthers. We haven't seen him beat the Panthers, in a few years now.
It is the greatest, arguably the greatest quarterback, but not a lot of hope there. At least week one, you have the potential of saying we haven't lost yet.
Yeah. And I think that's a winnable game.
Though. See, that's the thing. When I look at this schedule, I say week 1 through really week 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the schedule at home are usually hot. The first 3 weeks, so I'll consider the Raiders game. All right, so we'll put that one as our number 1 game so far. Not really. I guess you get to see John Gruden, Hall of Famer there, Hall of Fame coach. I guess that they would say is, and almost a little. Do you think he's overrated?
I think so. I think he had the
took over Dungy's team.
Well, no, it was. I think what it was too is it's kind of one of these things is like absence makes the heart grow fonder type of a thing. People are remembering him in a different way than he was. Yes, he has a Super Bowl under his belt. But
he won with a team that wasn't
with a team that he didn't build.
It almost felt like he took over right before they started the playoffs.
Yeah,
I know that wasn't the case. I think he took over that year, but it was just
Tell me any other year you feel like he's been successful.
Yeah, I guess he had he kind of built the Raiders up a little bit. I don't know enough about his career other than that. I feel his personality is Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
The Chucky person. All right, so the Raiders, number 1. We get back home, Cardinals. I don't want to go see the Cardinals, I don't think. It would be cool to see. I like a lot of the talent on that team.
It'd be nice to see DeAndre Hopkins in that environment.
I've seen him before.
See how he does.
Seen him play. It's really what's the Murray kid? Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray, yeah.
But I don't want to go.
Didn't they get a running back? Who did they get as a running back? I thought they got a good running back too.
No, they traded away Steve.
They didn't have somebody to replace him?
Probably. But here's the thing is, you know what I don't want to see? Is I don't want to go to the first game where Cam isn't in the jersey on the field.
I know.
And
well, we have
like
no hope of him being a Panther. He is not a Panther, period.
But some quarterback who is like all of the, shifty and athletic and throwing it all over. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see us get beat by what I see as Cam all the time on the field. Rather get beat by, So the Panthers, then we can host the Bears. Yeah, I would get excited.
The Panthers reunion. Yeah. I mean, Cam Newton reunion.
Yep. Right? I think I've been talking about that point you've brought up since you've brought it up on the podcast, is that if you're really looking at, dominoes falling, it's a possibility. If you hit that, CK, you're a legend. Like that prediction, if you hit that, you're a legend, because that's a really good one. It's one that has intrigue of Cam Newton, the intrigue of a storyline, but some real chops underneath. Generally, I would be excited about seeing a team like the Bears, because we would be two teams that play similarly. Defense matchup. It's going to be a good game. I think the best thing about that game is if that's a Cam reunion, we go.
Yeah, but the problem is how long is it going to take us to know that? You don't think that the prices of that game would skyrocket?
What if we bought Bears tickets now?
Yeah.
For dirt cheap. And if it doesn't happen, we sell them or just swallow the $12. We do that, or we end up or just going.
Or we end up going, or we do the giveaway like we did last year.
Oh yeah. So circle the Bears. Actually, the Bears might be my number one right now. Tentezi says the Lions. Also, the problem with the Lions is I suspect they could be good.
Yeah.
But I always say about that about the Lions, and they're never good. I always
think that happens a lot with the teams that are. It's happened a lot with the Bucks, so that's I guess we'll keep our expectations slightly tempered on that as well.
I'm not going to see the Falcons this year.
Yeah, we also gotta concern ourselves with the reality that we may not even be able to go to any of these games.
Oh, well, dang! Way to bring the whole fucking. Look, Tin Tizzy actually gave us something to talk about, and then you just ruined
it. Hey, listen, I'm just saying we got to also think about the other side of the coin.
That's about it. So I mean, if you think about it, it's really the Lions, the Bears,
or
the Raiders. And
the heat for the Raiders is going to be the biggest hurdle. The heat is going to be killer at that point.
All right, so what if we hedge our bets here? I think the Bear. I say it's a coin flip between the Bears and the Lions.
Okay.
I think the good news is we could buy tickets to the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
We could give them away if we don't want to go, and then we could go to the Lions game, because by that point it's week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's week 10. Panthers, by that point, could, if they're really bad, we could get those tickets around Thanksgiving.
Yeah. That's
my dad's birthday, I think, 22nd. So you're right around Thanksgiving. Nobody's going to be going to that crap. They would be like $1. Really? I mean.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. I mean, that's the reality. Depending upon what we're doing as far as like record is concerned, I think that would definitely drop. I think as the season starts to approach and people are realizing their resale value on their season tickets is not what it was going to be when Cam was there, I think we're going to see a big drop in the prices too. So hopefully we might even be able to, for the same price we went to the 4 games we went to last year, might be able to go to an additional 2 more.
We could go to the if you think about it, if we started out 0-4, we could get your 4-game package for like nothing.
Oh yeah. We could probably get people to pay us to take them at that point.
Yeah. Chef Jeff says, and go check out his YouTube channel, Chef Jeff Home Ecology. He said that they said in the letter to PSL holders that you're right. It is very clear. There's a possibility that there might not be games or there be limitations on it. This is probably the best year for the Panthers to suck.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
What if they won the Super Bowl this year and we couldn't actually go to a game? Like you had to just watch it.
Oh my gosh, that would be unbearable. That would just be the Panthers' luck, wouldn't it? Like it would be the worst year for football that the Panthers actually get to win.
And none of us get to really be a part of it.
No, that would be absolutely insane if you ask me.
So did David Tepper know
too.
the pandemic was coming and plan the whole collapse?
I mean, you got to wonder. But
Did
what
he eat the bat soup?
What happens if we don't have a season next year for the draft? Do they just go with the same order, or is it like a snake draft?
They cannot go with the same order.
No.
That's not fair. Is for the team that was shitty 2 years ago to get 2 number 1 picks.
Yeah. Do they do a snake draft then? And
I think you might. I think that's when maybe you do the lottery. And I hate a lottery. I hate the idea of a lottery. I don't want it. But maybe that is what it is. You take the worst teams. I don't know what you would do. And why should Miami get a better pick
than us?
Yeah, because you have no idea what they are in relation to each other.
Yeah, they have.
You almost need them to play
to
Madden season to figure it out.
The other piece to it is that they wouldn't need a quarterback, right? So Tua and Lawrence, they wouldn't need a quarterback for those two teams, right? Who else was ahead of us? You have Stafford, so if they really plan on keeping him, I don't know if they go with Lawrence. So, but the other part is, I feel like we would have more of a chance to trade into that number 1 spot if we needed to,
or just let it fall. Oh yeah, because somebody else would swoop in.
Yeah,
you got it
because somebody ahead of us would probably try to go for it.
Do you really think? Okay, so where are you at in the COVID world? We have open restaurants. There's still social distancing things in place. In fact, to be honest, I went to the store recently and I saw more masks than ever. But it was Walmart, and I think everybody's just sketches AF there. Yeah. But I still see a lot of people being careful. Do you see things like? I mean, I know we can't predict if there's like a resurgence about it, but we talked about the fatigue earlier, CK. At some point, when do people, or do you think people just say, like, soldier on? Do you see it going that direction, or do you see it just kind of plateauing where we're at?
I don't think our economy could handle us not soldiering on, right? I don't think there is our government. You can sit there and try to bail us out as much as possible, but the more you bail us out, the farther we go into a collapse on the value of the dollar, because now you're just printing money at that point in time. The value of the dollar.
At least so is the rest of the world.
Yeah,
that's the only other good news.
But the problem is that we're the only ones that. What's wrong with our system? I don't know if you guys have seen this, and I'm not saying that the numbers aren't bad and that this shouldn't be a problem. I've talked to somebody who has said that they're, let me rephrase. I've talked to somebody whose good friend had a son who killed himself, and they ruled it COVID, and they were reporting that as part of the numbers. People dying in car accidents are being reported.
Like he was
as COVID.
So depressed that he got COVID. Is that what they tried to argue?
They're saying that he was because I don't know if he was COVID positive or not, but they're using that, and the numbers are being so inflated. Also, I don't know if you know this as well, and we learned this: the numbers of total people that the positive tests, people are getting tested like 4 times, right? They'll get tested, and when they get the positive, they'll test again, and then they'll get positive again, and then they'll test again. And until they actually test negative, they're continuing to get tests. And every one of those positive tests counts as one to that clicker that they're talking about within the U.S.
We have to be able to do a better job with managing data. Seriously,
what we have as far as technology
insanity
that's available to us, why we have not utilized that technology to the best of our ability is beyond me. Like, we should, in this day and age, have a better opportunity to do these things than we do right now. And what's problematic is that you see these numbers, and the problem is that that number can be half of what it actually is. Like, that's the reality of it. The problem is that it makes everybody panic, and so now you're sitting here wondering about the NFL. Is the NFL going to actually have games? But you're sitting here hearing these stories of where people are being diagnosed with COVID, and one person can count for up to 6 of those tests. That's the part of it that people don't realize. One person can count for 6 times a positive test.
I don't look at any of the numbers, but I do just consider this is that one of the things that's probably when you were talking about the devaluation of the dollar, the debt, I actually think it's got less to do with us pumping out the checks than the decrease in income for the government that is happening.
Yeah.
Right? Is that like, it's not the $1 trillion in checks you wrote. Yes, that obviously is. It's the 9 billion transactions in sales tax for local governments, state governments, the reduction of income tax. That is where the far-reaching effects of this, I think, when it comes to economics, are going to be hard for us to fathom. So when it comes to that, though, is put your pennies away for right now. Yep. I say we buy tickets to the Bears.
Let's do it.
We can give them away if, you know what I'm saying, we can reorient if things are going bad and there's no Cam and we don't like it, and then Lions being the fallback plan. So if we're pinching COVID pennies at that point, but see, you're right. If Cam is the dude, everybody's going to want to be at that game.
Yeah.
Did you see that weird mess? Did you see the weird mess the Dolphins are doing, where they're like going to put up like a drive-in movie theater? Oh my gosh, we're going to have to. I like when these big giant corporations now have to get creative. You know, like they just sucked our money from us without question for so long. Yeah. And now they have to adapt.
It is interesting.
All right, before we get into the catcalls, there's only one story. Let me see. I'll go to this. Let's pull up we'll just put up NFL.com, which I had up. Now it's gone. Let's see, because I pulled up the schedule. News in the NFL goes like this. There actually is. There's not even been an arrest story this week, from what I've heard.
Yeah, that's
like that's how bad it is.
That's a surprise because it felt like we got all the arrests in 1 week, right?
Yeah. Okay, so top stories on NFL.com. Jay Gruden knows his job to mesh with Gardner Minshew. Ooh. Okay, Jay Gruden in Jacksonville. There's a little ECU. Gardner Minshew. Flacco aims to help the Jets be someone Sam can lean on. I guess there's news. Joe Flacco's still in the NFL.
Yeah, he signed with the Jets, which was an interesting sign. But I mean, I think it's mainly to help Sam Darnold come along and be a better quarterback, because he has not shown that he is going to be the guy.
We've got a story from a former Carolina Panther, Steve Smith, on NFL.com, says his top 5 teammates were Julius Peppers. He puts a tie for Muhammad and Ricky Prohl. Terrell Suggs played with him. Greg Olson, number 2. Wow. High praise.
Jake Delhomme, number 1?
No, that's what I thought. That is what I thought. Jordan Gross.
Yeah, that makes sense. That is an interesting list, though. Well, I mean, to be fair, he only played, 2 seasons with Cam?
Yeah.
But same thing with Greg, too, though. He was only there with Greg for 2 years.
Yeah, 11 to 13. Gosh. I mean, slight to Cam. But here's the deal, is that in fairness to him, is that he also slighted Delhomme. Not slighted, but, is that it's like, I'm not going to pick my quarterback. How about that? If he would have picked...
Yeah, that might have been what it is.
And he had to pick somebody from the Ravens.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that also when you think about it, Cam Newton is the reason that Steve Smith wasn't there anymore. Not that Cam wanted it, but Cam is the reason Steve Smith got cut from the Panthers, period.
All right, when it comes to... Holy cow. This is the worst thing I've ever seen in the history of the Panthers website. All right, so here the way it's displayed. You know what? I might try to put it up right now. Let me see if I can do that. Well, here, everybody pull up the Panthers.com. The homepage, the landing page is in the spotlight. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 stories in the bar, like in the main feature. Number 1, Kristen Balboni gets to know Friesman Jackson. By the way, Friesman Jackson is our wide receiver coach. Story number 2, how Friesman Jackson playing days influenced the way he coaches wide receiver. Story 3, Friesman, is it Friesman or Frisman?
Who knows? It's all just digging in the bottom of the barrel.
Friesman Jackson's career path in photos. So it was like this, team meeting today. We have nothing to talk about. Let's spotlight Friesman Jackson. Oh, and how about this? Is that I'm going to say a hard no on this. Is Stephen Weatherly the most interesting player in the NFL? I don't know anything about Stephen Weatherly other than he came to us from Minnesota. A lot of people who I respect think he could be a good player that was sitting behind great players that could be something special. But seriously, that's where we're at.
Can I tell you, my interest level when I saw that and reading that article was 0.
Me too. And actually, it's because
any of those
they asked.
Any of those.
Like, it would have been kind of awesome if we read an article about Stephen Weatherly and we were like, this guy is very interesting. But no, it's like, let me try to convince you this person is interesting. Hey, yo. I guess it's just me here.
No, I'm here. I'm eating, and I just didn't want you guys to see me and hear me.
His interest level. All right, what is your interest level in Friesman Jackson, Stephen Weatherly, or the sandwich you're eating?
Sandwich, for sure.
Is it a sandwich?
No, it's a quesadilla.
Quesadilla. You like the Mexican food, don't you?
Oh, my gosh. I love some Mexican food, dude.
All right. Okay, there is one. Now that we went through the fake news on NFL.com and Panthers.com, there was one story or I think it's from Bleacher Report, Fan Sign or whatever. We saw a tweet. Mike Tolbert puts out a message, and I don't even have the energy to pull it up. But basically, Mike Tolbert said that the Panthers screwed Cam by the way they managed his injuries. And even that is non-news at this point.
Yeah, because we've been saying that for years.
A billion years. Yeah, I mean, we've been saying it the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely. We said it after the 2016 season when they let him play into his injury. Yep. Until he had to, all the way to the very end, and then he got surgery halfway to the 2017 season. Wasn't that the season, or was it the 20?
So 2016, he got the concussions. Like, remember, he walked he tried to showboat into the Falcon. You know,
I remember the Broncos.
He was getting headhunted that year. That's when we did the I Stand With Cam t-shirts. Mm-hmm. And I want to say that it was at the end of 2016 when he injured his shoulder. That Tampa.
I think so too.
Right. So he gets the
surgery.
I do want to. Maybe even Mike Tolbert, though, has a superficial view of the storyline. Because the real question is, did the Panthers mismanage? Was it all them? Or
was Cam also at fault?
Yeah, right? So he has the video in this past season where he was very adamant in public about how he hid the foot injury. More so than I suspected. I didn't think he needed to be that much because I felt like we all saw it. But, okay. So he really fell on the sword there.
I agree, but I think also we forget Cam Newton. I almost – do you ever remember – and I think it sounds so bad. Do you remember watching The Office if you've gotten this far into it? And Michael Scott gets called into the office at Dunder Mifflin, and they want him to tell him what he's doing right because – his is the only branch that's actually doing anything right.
All right.
And so Michael Scott
starts.
Yes, Michael Scott goes, never for any reason, under any circumstances, ever, not ever do you try it, no matter what, under any circumstance, just keeps on doing that. Never gets to any subject. And then he cuts to his side interview that said, sometimes I start a sentence and I don't even know where it's going.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Cam is like that sometimes.
Okay.
Like he starts a sentence and he doesn't know where it's ending. And
I feel like I'm a lot like that too.
Yeah, I am too. Absolutely. I improvise. Like when I start a sentence, when you guys ask me a question, I'm like, let's roll with it. Let's do it. And my brain will just connect the dots as I'm going. And sometimes it doesn't connect. Sometimes it just doesn't.
They're the wrong dots.
Yeah, that's it. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. And you're okay.
But that was odd. It was very produced. That one was very produced. Remember, he's drinking the brandy.
Yeah,
smoking the cigar.
No, the one that he was talking about with that was actually he was in his car.
Oh, you're talking about when he was on the.
Yes, he was driving.
Okay.
Yeah, he was driving, and like because Cam Newton uses words that like when it's his YouTube videos and the ones that are produced heavily, you can tell that he has scripted what he says. I mean, maybe not to the T, but he doesn't say the words that he means something else. Like. When you see him in his
it's not off the cuff. It's not ad-libbed.
Yeah. Well, and you can tell because Cam does a lot of he mixes up words. Like he'll mean one thing and say something else, and we understand what he's trying to say because that fits. But when he's doing his produced videos, you don't see that. And I feel like in that video, I think there were a couple where you kind of feel like, okay, yeah, he's definitely talking off the cuff at this point. So I'm not even sure you could say he's falling on the sword. I think he is just honestly being candid, but at the same time, I think he didn't realize the gravity of what he was saying.
So as we continue, I'm about to show you. I want you guys to let me see. I'm gonna pull it up right now. So featured videos. Let me see if I can get this. What I was trying to bring up a little bit with CK is that. Maybe Tolbert's being a little heavy-handed with that. I think the Panthers are complicit in so much of this, but when you think about when it goes to Cam, he called out the timing of when they got in the surgery, when they pulled him from the games. And I think that maybe was something that the coaches maybe gave Cam a little bit too much leeway. Maybe they're bullied by him or some. I don't know. But we could tell in Cam's early years he was certainly scared of the knife. Is that maybe the medical staff was trying to encourage him to rehab, but Cam for a long time he always got his surgeries 2 months late. And if that's if anything, the mishandling of the Carolina Panthers with Cam injuries is maybe they let Cam's feelings and whatever get in the way too much, which that's kind of messed up when you're talking about somebody's own life and body and health,
Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy.
I think the stream crashed.
No. Are you serious?
Yeah. Jeff just said it in the.
Oh, it says reconnecting on 2 minutes ago.
Well, we might be forced out of here early. Who knows?
Gosh, I wanted to play this video, you guys. How do you get it to reconnect? My kids are playing Fortnite. Assholes. Let's see. Here it is.
You remind me of Patton Oswalt with your movements in that.
Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do now is, earlier you were talking about how Cam can be, misspeak at times or use whatever word, and people used to make fun of him. Let's see if I can do this for you. Window.
If you do it for me, it might mess up the way that the stream looks.
Does it?
Yeah, because you know how when Cody doesn't.
All right. So pull up the video and don't put you'll be able to hear it from me. But right. Just so you can see the actions. All right. So this was, gosh, when did I make this? I made this in 2017, and Cam Newton was on that. We were having a good season.
Yep.
And I think there were some questions. I don't know what the questions were about, but this is why. Why is this so hard? Why?
That's what she said.
Why? Let me see.
All right. So what is it? Parody? Should I type in parody in the channel?
I am going to. No, just pull up our video. Pull up our stream right now.
All right, I got
so
it.
You can see my face. Let me see. Or you can do the parody. I don't care how you do it. I'm just going to play it just like this. Let's see if this works.
Yeah, thanks, Cam. Running game got back on track this week, but you're not fully where you want it to be at. How do you feel about it evolving into, I don't know, a traditional running attack?
That's just Panthers football. I mean, Jay Family Guy, Stiggity Stewie, he's critical components of our game. That's what we do. I mean, what we need to do.
When you watch the football film of this game, what do you see that you would like to improve?
You look at the scoreboard. I mean, score. That's what I want to change.
I think he said flippity flop.
And a couple of weeks ago, you had 6 TDs, 1 interception, and that's flopped the other way. What offensively has happened?
This is just how it goes. I mean, if I could predictable my stats, I would have flip-floppitied them. I mean, if it was flip-floppitied, who knows what the outcome would have been. I mean, if we have won the game, your questions would be flip-floppitied. And to the earlier question over there, what, after I watch the film, what do I want to do? What different? I'd like to flip-floppity the outcome.
I think a lot of strange things have happened here, Cam. It's just, is this just the way it's happened? I mean, it's a lot of strange things.
I do want to point this out.
Things.
I think I remember the premise of this is that the parody is Cam's answers, and I think the questions are like really mirrored
based on what people have said.
On the real questions that were asked in that press conference. Yeah, it was just like so absurd, the whole thing. So we'll keep going through that with that.
Happening strange.
Strange
what do you
things.
think
Strange
about the
things.
strangeness?
I added that part, the strange.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm speaking here as the man in the mirror. Yes, the man looking back at you in the mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall, will this press conference end ever at all? It won't. It's all on your shoulders, Kim. I know it's all on your shoulders. I mean, that is what the man in the mirror said to me.
What will Kalen Clay bring to this passing game?
Oh, that was the question. What would Kalen Clay bring to the passing?
You know, I'm not sure, Joe. I mean, this guy, he played in the preseason. He really ain't done much in the NFL yet. And I know, and I don't know if you missed it, but I played like 3 snaps in the preseason, and none of them were with a third stringer. So, you know, when you always talking junk to fans, you guys say, oh, what do you say to them, Joe? You say he's just a minor addition. Well, looks at your man in the mirror. I mean, is this guy going to block? Is he going to help me rush the ball? So, you know what I think, Joe? I think he's going to return punts.
Can you put into perspective all the things that have been put on Christian McCaffrey?
What do you want me to put in perspective?
All the things put on his shoulders.
Well, I think, I think he put his shoulders pads on his shoulders. Probably put his jersey pants on one pants leg at a time.
Now, they did ask them. That was the question. Can you put him to perspective all the things that Christian McCaffrey has put on his shoulders? And Cam was like, ask him, mofo. You know what I'm saying? Like, he tried to answer the question, but it was stupid. These are all questions that were asked of Cam Newton with some colorful additions to it. But the responses are all mirrored on Cam's facial expressions.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the listening sound, like listening face.
Oh, he does it. He used to do it all the time. All right,
just leaning.
I mean, he did probably have to, move from the West Coast to the East Coast. I'm sure that was a lot to handle. I mean, that just must be different. I mean, there's no wildfires. It's totally flip-floppity. I'm sure finding an apartment, that was a big burden on his shoulders. He probably had to make some new friends, find some new places to eat.
He did say this part.
Some new clubs to go to. Some new ladies to... Man, let me stop.
He said that press conference. Man, let me stop.
What, you want him to stand on the sidelines at the club? Nah, my man, C. Mac Mizzle, he's got to dance. Christian McCaffrey has a lot of catches. You've been sacked a lot. How do you feel about your goal of getting layups? Do I look like Malik Miggity, my diggity monk? I mean,
it's a Charlotte Hornets reference for that.
It's not my focus. I mean, my focus is winning games at all costs. I'm probably getting out of this press conference without losing a damn sponsor.
Big
He
chunk
lost the
plays
Okanoy
give
sponsor.
this team energy, Cam. Do you have the wherewithal to make those big plays?
Next question.
The wherewithal.
Actual words.
Cam, You've been waking up every day of your life so far.
This is not.
Do you
actual
think
words.
you have the ability to wake up tomorrow?
Next question.
Cam, you played football at an extremely high level throughout your life, dominating those little dudes in Papuana, crushing it in college, and breaking records in the pros. Do you think you have the ability to play football?
Do you have the ability to play football?
Cam, your mama went to church on Sunday. Do you think she has the wherewithal to say her prayers before she goes to bed?
Next question.
Cam, you are a pescatarian. I mean, I didn't know what a pescatarian was until you came along. But do you think you have the wherewithal to remain a pescatarian this week?
This week.
Next question.
All right.
Subscribe to the C3 Carolina.
That's a throwback right there. Let me see if this works. That's
Yeah.
a throwback to 2017. Joey the Blind Panther says Tony is so gay for Cam, he became Cam. Dude, I'm telling you, I got a good one. I did top 10 Steve Smith one time, like Dave Letterman style. That one's real funny. All right. It's the C3 Panthers podcast. The number's 252-228-5098. Thank you for joining us on the No News Part 2. We had No News Part 1. Now we have No News Part 2. And now we will go to No News Catcalls.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think
Very
catcalling makes the
uncomfortable.
person feel?
It feels good. Like
Feels good, yo. What up, girl?
I can't call Cam.
Hey guys, Joey the Blind Panther. And I was thinking last night, we should make a serious push for Teddy Bridgewater to wear the number 12. Because when we play Tampa, it'd be
TB12.
against
TB12.
TB12. And then we can argue that, well, when we win, because, well, Gronk will probably be injured, if not by week 2, probably week 5. So when they come to our place, Gronk will be at least one game away still because Gronk's always injured.
I'm
He only
100%
comes out
behind
for
this call.
playoffs, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers know that. We can argue that we in fact have the real TB12, and that Tom Brady is just an imposter, and that Teddy Bridgewater is the real TB12.
Two
And we can
gloves,
have Tom Brady all
TB12,
pissed
TG,
off and
TB12.
Giselle coming at us, which, I mean, I think would just make us more happy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would just be
that
kinda
would
funny.
make me more happy.
But
Skinny. Actually, you know what?
Tell me
She
what
is
you guys
skinny
think
as
about
all
that.
get out.
Oh, and also, we're actually looking at going to the Chiefs game in Arrowhead because I
Ooh.
want to go to every NFL stadium in the league.
Oh, that's a great goal. That's
and
a
we
great
don't play
goal.
at Arrowhead for another 8 years, so I'm probably going to go. I was going to go to Washington, but fuck FedEx Field, it sucks.
Yeah,
It's possible
man.
we played
Wait till they
Arrowhead.
build a
County
new one. What a great call there. That's call of the night. In fact, is that if we didn't have one more call, we only have
It was
one
the
more.
only call.
It would have been the only call tonight. No, good call. A good call there because that would actually give us something to do when the Bucks came and played us.
Mhm.
Is that we could
Give
all
us something
wear,
to talk about.
we could all wear TB12 T-shirts.
That would be
in Panthers.
hilarious.
Yeah, that would be
fun.
fun. That would be fun. And you know what? Keep up with your goal, Joey, of going to all the stadiums. That's cool. I have a cousin that was trying to do that with baseball stadiums, but wait for FedEx. Wait for them to blow a bomb on FedEx. From what I've heard, I've never been there.
I
But
don't. Yeah, that's
people say it's
all
the
I've heard is
shittiest.
negatives about. Like they say it's grungy, and like they say that it's even my one of the guys the guy we bought the tickets from last year. went up there. He said it like it's almost really hard to see it. Like in Ericsson in Bank of America Stadium, you can see people across the way, and you can almost point them out. Like I know who that is,
right?
You know, if you're expecting them to be in a certain area, he's like it's almost like pollution makes it hard to see across the field at FedEx. Like you feel like it's a crisp like type of look in Bank of America. At FedEx, he said it just feels grungy. You can't even see far.
You're in Virginia. What's the other theme park? Not Busch Gardens, but what is it?
King's Dominion.
King's Dominion. I've heard that we always go to Busch Gardens. That like it's just always what we've done. And we, I don't know why. I mean, it's not like anything, but I've heard that King's Dominion is just like the NASCAR version of Busch Gardens. Like it's just like on pavement. It's in the middle of like like there's no trees, there's no nothing. That's how FedEx is. It's just like in the middle of nowhere, just this shitty stadium.
Yeah, no, I really like I said. King's Dominion, I couldn't really speak to that. I think it's been since I was like 5 since we went there.
Their roller coasters are long ones though. That's the difference between them and Busch Gardens. From what I've looked at on YouTube, is like the roller coasters like 2.5 minutes long or something, and the Busch Gardens roller coasters are great. They're just like 45 seconds.
Yeah, I honestly, it's been a while since I've been to Busch Gardens. I normally go down to Carowinds, to be honest.
Really? Do you like roller coaster? Are you a roller coaster fan?
I am a big roller coaster fan. The reason I do go down to Charlotte is Charlotte's one of my favorite places, and I like staying down in Charlotte, hanging out downtown at the Epicenter.
Which I heard is actually going to be turned into office space now.
You're kidding me.
I heard that. And if you think about it, if there's a time to do it, it's in the pandemic of who wants to go to Whiskey River. Or the other one I like
cash grab though. Why are they doing that? There's so many people that go there every night.
I love Howl at the Moon, but I heard that that's the piano bar there. I heard they replaced the band and it's not as good anymore. I always had a blast going there. So, yeah, that's a sad thing. But, yeah, Charlotte's a fun place to go. But right now, it's like the epicenter. Speak of epicenter, it's like the epicenter of North Carolina and COVID.
Is Tin Tizzy in Philly?
Yeah. No, he's from Jersey. He's from Jersey.
Oh.
Which
he said
is like
y'all need to come up to the next Eagles and Panthers in Philly.
Yeah, because that's like 8 minutes from him, probably.
Oh, is
it? Which, you know
what?
I will do that.
You do not want to go to Philadelphia as a opposing team fan.
Oh, yeah, that does suck. But at the same time, I would just say eat that horse shit over there like you guys do. Have you seen that? I've seen Philadelphia Eagle fans eat shit on the internet. Like, they eat shit as like a celebration. Ugh.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's all. We have what's really cool is we have this guy who does the Panthers growl and does rapping for with a little cassette player.
Yeah, you eat shit. We'll have a Panthers growl guy. But here is I will do the Eagles game because you know what the cool thing is CK is we can take the Amtrak. I can take the Amtrak. Yeah. I bet you're close enough to be able to drive to an Amtrak station.
Yeah, it's right down the street from me.
It's expensive as shit, the Amtrak.
But it's fun, dude.
Yeah, it's chill though. You don't have a car.
Yeah.
You get to go relax.
We go up to DC. We go up to we went back back in I guess 2009. We went up to New York using Amtrak. So yeah, it's it would have been 2012. We went up there.
Philly is a great city, man. It's a cool city. It's got history. It's not too expensive. You get the public transportation is legit. So yeah, I'm into that. Maybe we should just meet in Philly for a weekend and have a guys' weekend. All right, we got one more cat call, and then we'll get the heck out of here.
Podcast, how y'all doing?
My man G.
Hey, it's not gonna be long. This is gonna be a quick one. I'm not gonna play the what if game like I did last week, which I know I probably scrambled a lot of fans' brains with that, but that was on my mind. Here's something that I was thinking about, and I want you guys' honest opinion. Okay, we know Teddy Bridgewater is the starting quarterback, which honestly,
TB12, by the way.
I truly do like. I don't care what nobody says. Some people might say that, he came from the Saints. Nah, no. Teddy Bridgewater is okay with me. The question I have for you guys is, honestly, would you start P.J. Walker at number 2, or would you go with Will Grier? Me personally, I'm done with Will Grier. Last year was horrible. Our boy looked lost out there. Now, P.J. Walker has some NFL experience. And I know everyone, he played for the XFL and everything like that, you know what I'm saying? But he is a pretty good damn quarterback when the right plays are called. You see what I'm saying? No, he's not like Steve Young backing up Joe Montana or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? But give me your thoughts on P.J. Walker. Give me your honest opinion. Would you start him as the number 2 quarterback, or would you start Will Grier? And always remember, gentlemen, stay safe with this corona shit and keep pounding.
Keep pounding. My man, G. Cavassier, is that asking the tough questions when it comes to Will Grier. Number 1, Will Grier is not part of this Panther regime, but he is, right? Marty Herney picked him.
Yeah, Marty Herney picked him. And that kind of set off red flags for people thinking, okay, is this the end of Cam Newton's tenure?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out it may not have been a direct end to his tenure, but it definitely was.
It was. What do they call it? Not causal. It was corollary.
Yeah, exactly. but here's the point, and I get I think we all kind of felt that way about Will Grier last year after that horrible outing. But you got to imagine this guy, and we were warned about it before. We were calling for him to at least be in there, see what we have, see what he can do. And there were plenty of callers who said, this is like the worst situation you could put that kid into. And let's go ahead and throw him into one of the worst offensive lines while our defense can't stop anybody. So all the defenses know that we're doing is throwing the ball. And now all they have to do is try to, basically disguise their coverages and make sure that Will Grier is going to throw the ball to them. That was one of the hardest situations to be put into. And so I'm not ready to just throw the book out on him yet. Do I think he's the answer in the future? No. I personally would prefer to see P.J. Walker do something, because I almost look at P.J. Walker as a Jake Delhomme type. Jake Delhomme was signed off of the European League, right? You guys forget that. I mean, this guy was not a...
I mean, maybe their play not be similar to each other, but they're...
Correct. But what I mean is the story.
Their ascendance.
The rise. I mean, P.J. Walker wasn't given a shot, and when he was in the XFL, yes, against B-level players, he just destroyed lives. Like when he was out there, he was doing incredible things. Hands down, the MVP of the XFL. And
he got
so
a little
I would
Mike
really like
Vick in him. Good Lord.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really do feel like this guy has the ability to do some stuff. I've said it from day one of Teddy Bridgewater being signed. I would not be surprised if Teddy Bridgewater is not our starter week 1 in Oakland. I mean, in Charlotte against Oakland. Do I think it's likely? No. But do I think it's possible that somebody else is going to be taking the reins? I think that this is going to be a battle. I think the way Matt Rule handles his football teams is you have to fight for a starting job. And if Teddy Bridgewater comes in and he is not showing that he is starting material, but P.J. Walker, who we've already established, has a relationship with Matt Rule, and Matt Rule has no problem showing favoritism to the people that he has actually experienced and been a part of in their lives. Or if he sees something special in Will Grier, we have so many moving parts to this. Right now, they have nothing that's set in stone. I really don't think so. But I don't think it's ready to... I'm not ready to throw the book out on Will Grier.
I think Will Grier is a bust. And here's why I'm going to say this. And it's not me trying to dump on him. Maybe it's where he's picked at. I think he's a bust for why he was picked. And the reason I say why is that I think he was picked as a guy that had potential ceiling, but really had less floor. A higher floor. So it was like, oh, this is a guy that is safe.
It's a safe backup.
Yeah, and what I think here is that the staff that the Carolina Panthers have brought in, they go and get their guy. Rule has coached this guy in the past, And when you look at Walker, he looks raw, but he has, I won't say intangibles. It's not like just intangible. He has arm talent. He has, in the video, wherewithal. He has a couple of things that do come up to be a kind of it factor. I would say that his ceiling is remarkably higher than a Will Grier. Now, that's me making these statements on a very limited data set when it comes to Will Grier. So I hate to shit on a guy that I don't know. So I don't want to tell you what he can't be. But I tell you one thing is that I would be more excited for a PJ Walker and more optimistic than that, as I just think they drafted a backup. And Will Grier. And I don't even know if he's really a backup. We don't even know. And he's older, right? He's not young. Think he's like 26 already. I heard somebody said talking shit about him having growth hormones in college. I don't know. I think by bringing in Walker and his success in the XF, what is it, the AAF or XFL? XFL?
XFL for PJ Walker, yeah.
Yeah. I think that kind of fits the coaching model more. You know what? Walker? Yeah, I think, and maybe it's not Joe Brady's coaching model, but the idea is this, is that we don't need perfect players. We need players that can be, that are athletic and do certain things really well. I don't need a perfect player. I don't need a Peyton Manning every time. I don't need that to win a game. You give me a guy who has movement in the pocket, can throw this or throw that, and we'll work with it, and we'll do the other things with. And I think Will Grier is kind of like, he doesn't do anything bad, but he doesn't do anything great either.
Yeah. No, and that's, we saw him do bad, but again, that was in one of the worst situations to be thrown in as a rookie who's never started an NFL game. Let's go ahead and throw you to the Wolves with some of the best.
Arguably the shittiest team in the NFL at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, shittiest defense for sure, when you look at the numbers. But even outside of that, look at the teams that they threw him up against. It wasn't like New Orleans Saints. I mean, come on now. I mean, you're not throwing him into a situation where he is playing against, bottom of the barrel teams. So, I mean, you're already putting him in a really tough position. So, I think somebody had talked about it, and we kind of shrugged it off as like, he's an NFL player. He's got to be able to do these types of things and whatnot. But if there was one thing that's going to shake somebody's confidence is having a game like that to start out your career. All
right. It's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. The number's 252-228-5098. We're here every Tuesday night live at 9 p.m. And that's about it for tonight, CK.
Yeah.
Let's just ice some fools up. And I don't have any good. My ice up goes to life and my family. How about that?
Yeah.
No, is that there's an idea look, we've had some bumps and bruises with my kids and my, just things in life.
Yeah.
But we kind of I'm going to ice up myself a little in my family on this, and that is that sometimes I feel like I'm surprised that we have bumps and bruises. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
But, life it's like riding a bike, or whatever you're going to learn to do, is to think that it's not going to come without its bumps and bruises and scrapes is naive in its own way. I feel like a child in that case. But don't be jerks, folks. And don't be jerks to the people you love the most. And that's who we tend to be the jerkiest of jerks to, is the people that we know we can get away with it. And look, there's nothing major going on with my kids or my family. It's just little shit. Like I made my kid write an apology letter to another kid today, and he's like a nerd. My kids don't have an aggressive bone, but I'm making him mail it, and it's just for being a jerk in life. So don't be a jerk. So ice up to that. CK, what you got for
people who let their emotions roll over to the people that don't deserve it.
Yep, exactly. And the people we love the most a lot of times.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Mine is going to go. It's going to be oriented in my state in Virginia. On Friday, they're mandating everybody wear masks out in public. Like making it an order. Yeah, making it an order. Governor Northam he basically said earlier in the week, he said, I'm going to go to the beach. And if I see people not doing what they're supposed to be doing, social distancing, wearing masks, things like that.
Why you gotta wear a mask on the beach, homie?
He basically was saying that like he's going to then order for the masks to be worn. Dude went to the beach with no mask and not practicing social distancing at all. Like he was doing selfies with people, like basically within a half a foot of some people.
Okay,
like video, everything, just idiotic. And then he has the gall today to actually come out with the order. I said, number one, he has no way.
Oh, you mean the governor was doing that?
The governor Northam, yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't just some rant. All right, so he went to the beach.
He went to the beach, and his reason for doing it was he wanted to make sure people were doing what they were supposed to be doing, and if they weren't, he was going to mandate that we all. But then he made it a
political tour.
Yeah, and then he made it a political tour. He was photographing with people and all of that, but which, in my opinion, made it even 10 times worse because the backlash he has received is outrageous. But he came out today. He made the order. Again, I'm not saying that this is not a serious situation, but to try to tell me that I have to wear a mask in order to be out in public is not an enforceable rule. It is not something that it goes against our rights from the Constitution. And so I will refuse to do it just off the principle of that. He did say
Don't be
today,
one of those people that goes into a store, though, and makes a big Karen moment
No,
about it.
No, not at all. Not
Have
at
you
all.
seen those
It's not
people
gonna be
that
anything
fake
like that.
cough?
Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be. But no, it's just a matter of he admitted today, he was like, we have no way of enforcing this. This is mainly going to be giving businesses the right to refuse service to people who don't wear masks.
Okay, so you're not like a segregationist at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to ice up people too who wear masks in their car by themselves.
Yeah. That is kind of hilarious.
I kind of ice that up. It's like, y'all don't know what these things do, right? Like, that if you were on the beach by yourself, wearing a mask does not help anybody.
No.
The earth,
absolutely
nothing.
Not.
It doesn't do anything except for the mask.
To that same note, those kids in the Ozarks are idiots.
They're 20-year-olds, man. That's what you do. They're saying this. Fuck it. They're like this. They're like, they are COVID truthers, bro. They're not even, they are kind of idiots, yes, but they're also like,
what do you expect from
real evolution?
You're supposed to be idiots
evolution.
at that point, right?
That's evolution, yeah.
And to be, like I said, on that point,
you'd be lucky if you don't come back with chlamydia.
There is no effort whatsoever in trying to do social distancing. When you're looking at that, like there is not even a single effort. I understand maybe keeping your clique of people and then like hanging out with them and then maintaining distance from other people.
Okay, right.
I get that, right? But this was an entire lake. By the way, the Ozark Lakes are huge.
Yeah,
right.
Watch the show.
It's huge. Yeah, exactly. And so there is Party Cove. I get that. That's probably where they were at. But you have a lot of area to be able to spread out. You don't need to be within a foot. Like they were within a half a foot of every single person.
You're missing the point here. Is that they have got a better chance of coming back with gonorrhea or chlamydia than they do.
Yeah, absolutely. I would not want to swim in that lake after that party. I'll tell you.
Oh, all right. So, Governor of Virginia,
ice up, Northam.
All right. C3 Panthers podcast at cat_chronicles. You can catch us every Tuesday night. Tell a friend about the show. CK, you want to play some video games?
I do. I absolutely do. I thought
where could they watch you do this at? Maybe not tonight, but just say if they want to watch it.
I do stream in the mornings on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday nights, and then Saturday and Sunday might be a wild card. I don't know. We'll find out a good schedule for those days. But you can find me on Twitch at Codizzle_Allen, as is in my comment on the YouTube page. Hey.
You
can find me there. You can find me at the YouTube page there as well. I'm going to be starting to put more clips up of my gameplay and the reactions and whatnot. Did you like that one?
We should play it right now. You want me to play it real quick?
Sure.
What's the title of it again? Let's see.
I can't even remember.
I'll just look up the channel.
It is.
Talk about what goes down while I pull it up.
So essentially, my goal with some of these are to use my voice, the inner world, to try to get these people to react. I did have one gentleman react in a very amusing way, and so we went and I tried to do my best at video editing this and trying to get everything to work dramatically and whatnot. But
right.
It's my first go of it, so don't be judgmental.
All right, I got you right here. Let's see.
Teammates in the gulag. If they survive, they can redeploy.
Come on, man. I'm not gonna go to sleep till I get a dub. We need to do this.
Well, you might be awake
right,
for days.
Oh, shit. I get a dub a day. Thank you very much.
All right.
That's funny.
Your teammate got their
You might be awake for days. Go check out that for stuff. It's always. I think you should do this. If I was gonna be the producer of your channel,
yeah,
is that I know we've played a lot and some streams, some stuff, so people know it's kind of. I think you should do every day. You should do one game with randoms.
Yeah,
where you drop it. Where it's just like you,
the
you don't
only
talk
issue with it,
until you just say it, and you wait. And you're a non-micer until that moment.
But the problem with that is the odds of you getting an actual team with mics now, especially early in the morning, are pretty slim. So it's really hard to get that together. Like that was a morning guy. That was a morning stream when that guy did that.
He had been up for days already.
He was still up from. He hadn't gone to bed yet, and I was starting to stream at about 8:30 in the morning. So this guy was still up after playing Warzone all night, and so like that's what I end up having to hope for is getting a guy who's delirious like that. Because I mean later on there was even a part where. I said, get the other person. I don't deserve to be revived, but I did it in my voice, and he just started busting out laughing. And then he did a callback to the other part where I said, you might be awake for days. It just worked out really well.
We're going to do this is on those night broadcasts where you're not streaming, you do that with one random, and then we make a you make a compilation video.
Mm-hmm.
Be great. All right.
Yeah, that's the goal.
All right, C3 Panthers podcast. We'll check you out next Tuesday night. Later, homies.
Peace out.
All right.